And we are back again at Silverstone for more of the Formula Student online podcast. And you've got the whole of Team Alpha here because at the end of the day, this is what we've been working towards as well as the teams. We're here at Silverstone finally. It's happened. And I can't lie, I'm so excited. We're here and it's great. I mean, what are we thinking of the teams that we've seen up and down the paddock? What cars are we excited for getting out on track?
Well, I think first of all, I've got to say I'm really, really proud of all the students that are here. They've done such an amazing job, and there is a notable step change in quality and cars that are complete. I mean, we've just been literally chatting with the EV scrutineering, and they are run off their feet.
Yeah.
And I said, this is brilliant. We want you to be completely knackered and maxed out. So that's a really good thing.
It's something that Sam said to me. We were interviewing some of the scrutineers earlier, and Sam is head of Mech Tech for scrutineering, and he turned around and said that he had seen far less teams building their cars in the paddock this year compared to last year and other years previous since the pandemic, which is a really strong sign.
Yeah, and I think, so a couple of cars that stick out for me though, so you've got the usual protagonists like Brooks and Cardiff and that. I don't know, I quite like Loughborough. I think their cars
they look really
tight.
tidy, really
and I was
tidy.
chatting to them and I said, how's it running? He goes, fine, no problem. I said, so you're happy? Yeah, great.
What about you, Jeff?
I really liked Exeter's progress because Exeter had a car last year that definitely wasn't ready for scrutineering, I have to say. But when we saw them yesterday and today looking at their car, I'm feeling a lot more confident about them this year. I think they seem a lot more positive about it, and it's good to see the technical bits on their car. It's brilliant to see. And I'm a Devonshire fan myself because I'm born in Devon, so it's just great to see them in a lot better position, at least for 2025.
They seem to have simplified it and taken it back to basics, and I think that served them well. And we're proud of them for the progress that they made, because you and me took a visit down there in April, and the talk that we had with them, I was not expecting the car to be in this state at Silverstone, given what they were saying at the time.
Yeah, not going to lie, I thought it was going to be a miracle to see them here, but yep, they've turned up with the car fully built. They're in the scrutineering queue just now, and I agree with everything you're saying as well, John. Compared to last year, they're not building the cars whilst waiting. It's just final spanner checking and just making sure everything is done whilst waiting to get their slot in. There's a lot more preparation. That's the old adage. 95% of success comes from preparation. The last 5% is in the execution. The one, Cheryl and I, we've just been having a look around. Coventry.
Yes, Coventry. The dirty tactics.
Dirty tactics?
Dirty tactics.
What dirty tactics?
The fact that they were saying, like, all that stuff about aero, basically bringing up, like, I don't need aero, blah, blah, blah. They've come with a full aero package.
Well, they've come with a design justification. This is what I love about Coventry. They've come to Formula Student, having written in various publications, we're not bringing aero. They brought the aero just to show that they did build it and ran with it, and they correlated the data and validated the data from the CFD, and they ran it with the wings, and they've proven their simulations and said, yeah, it doesn't work. So they've stripped off what they don't need. I love that. I think that's impeccable.
Have you also noticed, so we were just speaking to one of their lecturers before, that is a custom-built engine that they're running.
Yeah, there's not a lot of the OEM's engine left in there, which is really impressive. They've gone from about 40 to 50 horsepower output initially. It's a Kawasaki Ninja engine. And they've upgraded it and they've like skimmed the heads and everything, and they put a turbo on it as well. It's like 100 horsepower out of that engine now.
Out of a 400cc motor, 100 horsepower, guys. This is amazing.
This is excellent stuff.
Sorry, I've got to disagree with you all. It's Cardiff. It's 100%.
Is it Cardiff? Is it?
It's 100%. Obviously, you have background on it, Charles, being Cardiff Uni, but I disagree.
Are we going to talk about Cardiff's name for their car? Because they've named it after my sister.
Oh my god, I love that!
I love
That's
that.
the best thing. Okay, scrap everything I just said. Cardiff.
It's the
Just
last
for the name.
The team's been going for well over 20 years now. It's the last internal combustion car that they're producing before they switch over to EVs. Now, oddly enough, my sister is called EV. Now they're claiming it's because it's EV, and it's ironic that it's the last IC car and they're calling it EV. But the amount of jokes that have been made by certain team members about my sister, EV, yeah, I'm fairly certain that's named after my sister.
But just to quickly represent the statics, we've been seeing, today's the first day, so it's mainly concept class, but concept class. Correct. Okay. It's mainly concept class.
Static events.
We've got some good representation. We've got a few less good ones, but that's entirely to be expected with especially the new teams. We had one like relatively new team today, so yeah, like I think we're seeing a decent standard compared to previous years. So
I'd say one team I'm really proud of, because they took the difficult decision to actually revert back from their transition to electric powertrains, and they've gone back to internal combustion, is the Montfort, and they've been keeping us updated via the sim racing with their progress. And 3 or 4 weeks ago, the car that they brought to Silverstone this week did not exist, and they've turned it around rapidly. And they are working night and day. They arrived on Wednesday, they had issues with their BSPD, and they were working well into the night, up until like 11 o'clock before they got kicked out as the paddock closed, to get everything working. And regardless of the results for them, hats off. I've seen that car running, and to produce a working car in a year, having not done so for the past however many years, having tried to do the transition, realised this isn't working for us, let's try and keep competitive and go back. Just brilliant stuff. And also, they named the car Sabrina, and who doesn't want to go for a ride in Sabrina?
I think
Can we go back for a second? What's a BSPD?
BSPD is a safety system where if you hit the brake and the accelerator at the exact same time, it cuts the engine in the case of a heavy impact, but it's an electrical system, and as a result, it was brought into the rules a few years ago, and teams, initially it was an optional system, and then it was made compulsory 2 or 3 years ago, and they've had to adapt to that, and it can be a little tricky to implement correctly without causing issues.
I think you made the point about the teams that are really finding that extra gear now. This is exactly what Formula Student's about. Okay, so we're not doing this just because of race car, and we come here and we play with race cars and it's great. This is fundamentally a STEM educational event, and the whole reason that everyone volunteers for it is to give these students, these young engineers, a springboard into their careers. Now, one of the things that I found, I don't know if you can back that up, is you just don't realise out in industry just how much you've got to dig deep for certain projects to get things over the line, and there's no excuses. This is when lives can depend on it, and businesses and families and continuity of employment all depends on it. What we are doing here is basically replicating that in a safe, friendly way to give you that experience and that muscle memory of there is another gear, there is another opportunity, there is a solution, we've just got to engineer it. And that for me is the fundamental thing and the benefit, and what you will talk about in interviews for the next 20 years, that experience of just finding the way to get through and get there.
It's the can-do element.
It is so important, and that applies here, UK, in Europe, America. It's a commonality across the events that is just so important, and I'm so proud to be part of it.
Likewise, it's one of the highlights of the year, and it's the engineering equivalent of Glastonbury. It's one of my favourite phrases, because it gets exciting. Just even the build-up before the weekend kicks off, that excitement just begins to build, and we're already feeling it now.
Yes, I'm not an engineering student myself. I don't have a background in engineering, but doing Formula Student commentary throughout the last 3 years has educated me so much in terms of engineering. Monty and Giles have taught me quite a lot as well, and I've just been so fascinated on the behind the scenes of motorsport. It's not just getting your car and racing, it's about the mechanical side, the strategy and stuff like that, and it's just been so brilliant to see. And I've enjoyed looking at what the concept class have been doing as well, because those people, it's mainly their first and second year of doing Formula Student, they're turning a concept car into something really great, and then in the final year they can put it out on track, and then they know what they've done over the last 2 years.
That's exactly what Glasgow have done when they made the transition to EV. Past couple of years they've been concept. This year they brought a car that looks impeccable.
Fingers crossed.
I was actually about to say the same thing as Jess, really. I'm not an engineer, but I've learned a lot. Literally, you taught me something a second ago. Can I remember it? Probably not.
I'm not 100% sure I got that right. Did I get that right on the BSPD?
I think so.
I hope
You've
so.
got to appreciate, and I
I
say
think
this.
you did.
So I say this.
Own it!
I say this in static judging. So the students are coming here and expecting us to be the oracles and the font of all knowledge. We live and breathe this. Well, not all of us. Most of the judges here live and breathe this for a week, maybe 2 weeks as they're doing pre-market. You live and breathe this for 1, 2, 3 years. you have to be confident. You probably know a lot more about this than the judges do. Now, they can bring in their industrial experience and everything else that goes with that, but trust yourself. You know, you've learned a lot of information in these 3 years, and you are applying it and proving it now.
The key thing as well to add to that, from an education point of view, the knowledge has evolved since when we were at university. One of my favourite sayings from my granny used to be, "Forever you will be taught by your children." We have the wisdom, we have the experience, but they're the ones coming in with the latest knowledge.
Yeah, I mean, look, there's a prime example of this. Back just before I did my year in 2002, we didn't even have flash memory in the ECUs. Okay, so we were having to upload maps every single time we turned the ignition on. Right, that's how far we're going back now, and you know, you're doing on the fly.
What was the world like in black and white, John?
It was frightening.
Wow.
It was simple. We all spoke. We had to do cost judging in Latin. You know, that's how long ago we were talking about now.
Chalk and a blackboard.
Exactly. Yeah. You may laugh, but there is such, you know, the difference now, and I think this is the surprise when we bring VIPs in, and they go around and they go, "We're not doing this in Formula One," you know. There's some tech here, and that is a purposeful point of the rules. Is we want this to be a high-tech environment done in a very safe way, and the rule book is very safety orientated but open to allow you to innovate.
Well, UE are really pushing for their hybrid powertrain, and I know they're not competing with it at the event here at Silverstone, but they are in a couple of weeks heading off to Formula Student Spain, by which point they hope to have got everything up to speed where they can go to Spain with a hybrid power unit, which is really exciting for a Formula Student car.
To add to all this, like rules knowledge, admittedly I've been keying up on the rules for the past couple of weeks, so I'm pretty knowledgeable, but yeah, like 100%. These students are living and breathing these rules. There's certain areas, so the scrutineering judges, they're not really judges, scrutineers, sorry, they will have a lot more kind of technology about the car. For us in cost, you know, that's my particular judging expertise. We are assessing the cost of bomb and the bombs. So they've come to us with effectively the list of parts for the car, to explain to non-technical folk. They've come to us with a list of parts for the car. And we're basically checking that, like, is that realistic? They also have to present how they've made the car's manufacturing processes within that. So there's a really good depth of assessment that we're applying to the students. So you know, they have this massive breadth of knowledge, and it's a massive test for them. And I think it's, as you say, from the educational aspect, it's really positive.
Absolutely. Can I, just as a quick example from one which I've noted, so being a bit biased here, sorry guys, University of Hertfordshire, UH Racing, using them as an example, last year, they turned it with an EV car, which by their own admission knew was never going to get onto the track, it wasn't going to be able to pass scrutineering or anything. They had a choice there to drop down to concept class, but they decided not to and persevere in the main FS class, even though they knew they weren't getting onto track.
Right.
And I said to them, why? And they said, we think we're going to get a lot more knowledge, we're going to learn a lot more from going through scrutineering and being taught where we're going wrong.
Yeah.
Now this is interesting because for the first time in 6 years, we've seen videos of them shaking down. For the first time in 6 years, they have a working car.
Fantastic.
They were second in the queue for scrutineering. I'm really intrigued to see how they get on this weekend and if they can actually make it back on track, because if that has worked, that gamble was definitely worth it then, and that's a good example of what you were just talking about.
100%, and it's the statics is, you know, it's a significant portion of the points they can score. So it's critical that they achieve in the statics as well. So, you know, again, in my FS experience, so we won the endurance, but our static scores were lacking. So we got the full 300 points for the endurance, but we didn't win the entire event because we didn't have the statics, which admittedly all of the effort, or 99% of the effort in the team went into the car. We had a decent machine that just lasted, you know, the entire endurance, was rapid. It did the job, but unfortunately we were lacking in resources in other areas, and therefore
it's like Monty said, I'm intrigued to see which way the event this year is going to go, and I'm going to wrap up on this because we've got plenty more to be filming, and this is before anything's happened, so this could age like milk, but I'm going to call it now anyway. Starting with you, John, we're going to go around, call the winner of FS 2025.
No idea. I would have come in here with a good idea, and now, having walked around this morning, no idea whatsoever. Could be anybody.
Luke?
I'm still gonna go with Cardiff. I'm sorry, like representing. Obviously, we say this is Team FS. Sam Gibbo, he's also a member of Team Alpha, and have to have the home field, have to represent. So yeah, Cardiff.
I'd say Evie. Oh wait, sorry, Cardiff.
You've been sat there waiting to say that the entire time.
Yeah,
I feel like you guys are just jinxing this for Gibbo at this point.
No, it's gonna. I'm manifesting. Manifestation. Cardiff is gonna
Does
win.
that work?
I think so.
We'll find out, I guess. I mean, by the time we're watching this video and this has gone out, we'll know. You'll know at home. We've got no idea. Monty.
Everyone's voting for Evie.
I would love to vote for Evie, but I'm going to be cynical here. I don't know. Confidently, I could not tell you who I think is going to win this. I don't think it's going to be a British university, though, because whilst I think all of them have all the ingredients, something always goes wrong, and it's always a European team who ends up winning it. So that's where my gut feeling's with.
I have to agree with Monty. I think one of the European teams, and I'm keeping my close eye on the University of Edgar as well, who's done very well in the Formula Student Germany. So I'm keeping my close eye on them, and I think there's quite a few French teams in there as well. We had a chat with them yesterday, didn't we, Monty? So I think a non-British team is going to be doing well, and of course we saw one of the Australian teams, Edith Cowan, do really well last year, and it was great to see. But no offence to the British teams, I think one of the non-British teams is going to do well, and I'm going with Adiga.
So for me, to finish up, if you'd asked me this morning before I arrived on track, I would have said I couldn't call it, because I think it's wide open in the sense that a lot of the well-established British teams, bubbling around, rumours in the paddock, things that you hear, they've all had major issues right in the run-up to the event here at Silverstone, and that means they are going into this with far less confidence than they would have otherwise. They're less familiar with the car, it's been playing them up, they will be anxious, and as a result I'd say that's wide open. Having walked around the paddock in the last day, the University of the Basque Country, Bizkaia, really caught my attention. Now there is a well-oiled outfit, and I've got a funny feeling you'll be seeing them at the top of a lot of results come the end of the weekend.
We saw that last year as well. I think they topped quite a lot of events as well, and they just missed out, I believe, on the top to Edith. So you could be right on that one. I think they could be a strong contender, and they were looking very good in dynamics last year as well. So good point.
So I was chatting to these guys in the campsite actually, and they were saying they love coming to Formula Student at Silverstone in the UK because it's such an educational event. So it focuses more on the educational side, whereas some of the other events are a little bit more on the dynamics. But here is the learning curve for them as well. So I was really reassured by that. Their car is Mr. Composite, carbon fibre everywhere. So I think it looks good. Just before we wrap up though, I just want to say a really big thank you to you guys, because we started this team off to do some more of the media stuff and the event changes, and everyone you see on camera now give up so much time and effort to do that. And then we've got the likes of Gibbo, Mo and Nate, who aren't on camera right now, who do things in the background. And I think we're really starting to see some of the improvements and changes in here. So I just want to say a big thank you from me and from the event and from the committee, because it really makes a difference. And this event's lifeblood is its volunteers, and you guys are shining examples of that. So thank you ever so much.
It's our pleasure. We really enjoy doing it. So if you haven't already, subscribe. Make sure you watch the Formula Student coverage, and there's plenty more content on the way, and we'll catch you next time.
Bye.